Well, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you everybody for attending. This is our second open house to discuss the proposed annexation of the Arlington Fire and EMS into North County Regional Fire Authority. I'm Paul Ellis, City Administrator for the City of Arlington, and today I have with me Chief Dave Kraske of the Arlington Fire and EMS and Chief John Surratt from North County Regional Fire Authority. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, we're not able to meet in person, so we've set these meetings up as Zoom meetings. We'll also be streaming these on YouTube, so people who missed them or would miss the meeting or would like to view it later, you'll be able to do that on YouTube. If you are viewing today on Zoom, you'll have the ability to ask questions. You can type those into the question and answer block. Most of the time located at the bottom of your screen. Sarah Lopez, our revitalization manager, will be reading the questions to us so that we can address them. We'll begin with just a short overview of what the annexation is, go through some PowerPoint slides that hopefully will answer a lot of questions, and then we'll make sure and leave some time at the end to be able to address any questions that you have. So with that, I will turn it over to Chief Dave Kraske to start the point.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Paul. As you were doing the opening there, I was having a slight audio problem. Are you able to hear me okay now? Yes, very good. All right, welcome everyone. We've got a PowerPoint presentation that we've prepared that kind of walks us through the Regional Fire Authority process. Sarah, am I able to share screens here?
Yeah. You're a co-host, so you should be able to share.
It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Just a sec.
Challenges of Zoom.
Try it now, Dave.
Okay, there we go. All right, very good. Sarah, are you able to see that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. It's about a 20-slide presentation we put together to kind of give an overview on the proposal to the residents. So this opening slide is just a fire apparatus from Arlington and North County with an employee of each agency. So a little overview, the Arlington Fire Department serves the population of 20,600 people. In 2020, we responded to just over 5,000 calls, and we're one of only 3 remaining city-run fire departments in Snohomish County. I'll pause on that for just a moment. So the three remaining municipal-run fire departments are Arlington, Everett, and Mukilteo. And if you've been following the news, like in the Everett Herald the last few weeks, the city of Everett is about a year behind us in this process. And they are having conversations with one of their neighbors about doing this exact thing, about joining a regional fire authority. Which, if these 2 proposals are successful, then that will just leave Mukilteo as the last municipal run fire department in Snohomish County. So what's happened is other agencies, and if you take other cities that are similar size to Arlington, and we could say Monroe, Lake Stevens, Snohomish, Stanwood. Those communities over the years, and really it's over the past 2 decades, have realized that a municipal-run fire department is not the most efficient manner to do this. And so they've joined neighboring fire districts or formed regional fire authorities. So Arlington's kind of one of the last communities to get to this point, and that's what we're putting before the voters here a little less than 2 weeks. So the Arlington Fire Department provides high-quality fire and emergency medical services for residents and businesses. That includes fire suppression, fire prevention, emergency medical services, which includes advanced life support, which is paramedics, and basic life support, which is EMTs. So quality emergency services are important to a safe and thriving community. The City of Arlington is struggling to fund fire and emergency medical services and other services the residents want, such as police, roads, parks, trails, and community facilities. So all of those things come out of what the city refers to as the general fund. The general fund funds fire, police, streets, parks and trails, and community facilities. And of that, about 65% goes to the fire department. So the lion's share of that general fund. Costs outside the city's control are increasing faster than the revenue available to provide these services. Fire and EMS is the most expensive. Fire and EMS costs alone exceed all property tax revenue that the city collects without the EMS levy and an ambulance utility fee that allows the city to fund other services. This is a 10-year projection that our finance director put together. So I'm really pleased in the fact that we're being proactive on this. We're not reacting a few years from now when we are kind of in a dire situation, for lack of any other way to put it, in that you can see around 2024-25, with the forecasted costs the next few years, the general fund is really going to be in a bad situation to support fire and EMS. So we're trying to get ahead of this a few years early before we reach this 2024-25 point where we really are, for lack of any other way to put it, in a dire situation. So protecting emergency service levels. As emergency service costs continue to increase, the city is asking voters to annex the Arlington Fire Department to the North County Regional Fire Authority, which is also known as North County Fire and EMS. Annexation will protect emergency service levels, and it leaves revenue for other city services that contribute to our quality of life. So our current funding for fire and EMS, currently property owners pay a property tax levy to the city for fire and EMS and other services. They also pay an EMS levy, and all utility customers pay an ambulance utility fee. The ambulance utility fee was designed as a temporary funding for emergency services until a permanent solution such as annexation could be found. This has been years of study that have gone into this for us to reach this point. A little history: the city spent the bulk of 2017 in discussions with the Marysville Fire District and what's referred to as Snohomish County Fire District 12 to do this same thing. Did it make sense for us to kind of merge services with our neighbors to the south? In December of 2017, the city council kind of felt that it wasn't in our best interest, so those discussions ended. And early 2018, the mayor asked me to reach out to Chief Cermak and North County Fire and see if they had similar interest in these discussions. And we started meeting in February or March of 18, and we kind of had a little schedule. We met every 2 weeks, and we met about 8 times and realized, yeah, we have a lot of similarities and there's a lot of things we can do together. And that has brought us. So in 2019, we funded some joint, we share some employees, and I'll cover that here in just a minute. And then in 2020, these discussions got going about the two agencies combining. So it's a nice progressive timeline. Annexation will reduce the city's property tax levy and repeal the ambulance utility fee and EMS levy. If annexation is approved, property owners would pay a dedicated fire levy and an EMS levy directly to the North County Regional Fire Authority. Arlington will reduce its general property tax levy and repeal the EMS levy and ambulance utility fee. So what is a regional fire authority? A regional fire authority is a special purpose district and independent taxing authority. It's formed by 2 or more fire protection districts located within reasonable proximity of each other. And it's created by a vote of its residents. So I mentioned in 2017, the city was in discussions with Marysville and Fire District 12. At that time, we could not have done this with North County Regional Fire because at that time in 2017, the way that the legislature had written the language for regional fire authorities, you had to share a common border. Since that time, they have amended it to say that it just has to make operational sense and you just have to be within close proximity. So it does allow us to do that now. North County Regional Fire Authority, also known as North County Fire and EMS, it serves North Snohomish County and the city of Stanwood and includes the communities of Bryant, Freeborn, and Warm Beach. It was one of the first regional fire authorities formed in Washington State, and that occurred in 2008 when Snohomish County Fire Districts 14 and 18 merged. So Fire District 14 is the area that was previously referred to as Warm Beach, and Fire District 18 is north of Arlington and the area referred to as Bryant. And then 10 years later, in 2018, the city of Stanwood, the voters positively voted to join the Regional Fire Authority. So some similarities between the two departments that make us a good fit. We serve a similar population. The last census, Arlington's population was 20,600. North County's population of their entire service area is about 25,000. Our calls for service are similar. In 2019, we were just over 5,000, and there were about 700 calls behind us at just over 4,300. Staffing wise, we're very similar. We have we're both combination departments, meaning we have career members and part-time members. We have 30 career members, and they have 28 currently, and we currently share part-time members between the two organizations. And the total number of those part-time members probably is about 50 that kind of work in both agencies. So a strong partnership. The Arlington Fire Department and North County Regional Fire Authority currently share a medical services administrator that oversees the EMS programs in both departments. We share a fire marshal that oversees plan review for inherent fire protection, goes out in the field and inspects those inherent fire protection things as the building's being constructed. Does fire investigation, oversees the crew level fire inspections that are done annually. We currently share a community resource paramedic, and that is someone that goes out and visits with the higher utilizers of the EMS service in our communities to see if there's things that can be done to help reduce the number of times that they're calling 911. And that could be things as simple as installing some handrails in their residence to prevent falling, working with their physician to adjust some medications, doing things like that. So that person works to reduce the calls on the 911 system. And we currently share a training program. We jointly purchased a training software platform, and we share a training program, training calendar, and that our crews are regularly training together. As well as I mentioned, we share part-time emergency personnel. So annexation is more cost-effective for taxpayers. Finalizing this partnership through annexation would allow better deployment of personnel, improve training opportunities for firefighters, provide more emergency resources for city residents. Residents would not pay for ambulance transport in excess of insurance payments. I'll pause on that just a moment to kind of explain that. Currently in the city of Arlington, if you are transported, we submit a transport bill and invoice to your insurance company. Your insurance company pays, depending if it's Medicare, Medicaid, or a private insurer, they pay a specific amount. Currently, if there is an unpaid balance, we pass that on to the patient. In North County, they do not. So your insurance company or your Medicare and Medicaid provider is billed for the EMS transport, and nothing additional is passed on to the resident of the fire authority. So if you live in their response area, you're a taxpayer in the regional fire authority, you are not passed on any additional revenue. If you're like a guest or traveling through the fire authority and you're transported, then those costs are passed on. So that to me is a big win for our citizens here in the city of Arlington. Avoids duplication and costs of additional administrative personnel and emergency personnel. We'll be able to share some emergency personnel back and forth. And a great example of that is if I have a station that is at their minimum, meaning at station 46, which is located behind Arlington Hardware, that station requires 5 people per day to operate. So if I have a sick leave call out, generally that would require overtime to fill that position. By coming together, we'll have some, in a good share of the time, we'll have additional personnel somewhere in the district. So it could allow us to shift personnel between stations for a day rather than backfilling it with overtime, which would be a savings. And the long-term savings are capital facility needs such as fire stations and fire engines, that those costs would be shared by more people rather than just the residents of the city of Arlington. So annexation maintains local control. North County Regional Fire Authority is governed by a board of fire commissioners elected by voters in its service area. City residents would be eligible to run for commissioner seats, vote for fire commissioners, and vote on fire authority levies and bonds. Arlington would still have local firefighters participating in community events like the annual Santa Run food drive, still have the fire stations we do now, and fire prevention programs in the schools. All staff and emergency personnel will become employees of North County Regional Fire. This is one of the most common questions that I've been asked as I've been doing these presentations the last few weeks is there going to be any job loss? Is anyone losing their job? And no one is losing their job. If the vote is successful on February 9th, on August 1st, 2021, all employees of the Arlington Fire Department will transfer employment to the North County Regional Fire Authority. So without annexation, if the vote is not successful here on February 9th, the city will have to double the ambulance utility fee and increase its EMS levy. So the annexation proposal on February 9th is a special election. It's only voters in the city of Arlington. The way that the North County Regional Fire Authority wrote their charter is that another agency may join, another entity may join, but only those incoming residents vote to join or not. The existing residents of North County do not vote on this measure. If annexation is approved, Arlington will reduce its general property tax levy and repeal the EMS levy and ambulance utility fee, and we would retain some property tax revenue for services the community wants. So what will annexation cost? If approved by voters, annexation will be effective August 1st, 2021. Changes in property taxes will occur in 2022. Based on the most recent property tax data, the net financial result would be that 54% of homeowners would pay the same or save money. 28% would see an increase up to $5 per month or $60 per year, and 18% would see an increase greater than $5 per month. I just wanted to point out that when you can go and you can use the annexation calculator, I'll talk about here in a moment, but this is what your assessed value is, not what your, so to speak, retail value of your home is if you were to list it today. But this is, you need to use the number that the auditor provides you of what you're actually paying property taxes for currently in 2020-21. Without annexation, the city will have to double the ambulance utility fee and increase its EMS levy to meet the rising cost to provide fire and EMS. Property owners can compare what they would pay with the annexation calculator. Give us the website there. If you just Google the city of Arlington and in the search bar, just enter Regional Fire Authority, a lot of information will come up as one of those things is the calculator. It's kind of a timeline of what's been going on as these discussions started. Early 2020, we met 16 times in 2020 to get to this point. And between late October and early November, we had the city held some public meetings on the annexation proposal. On November 2nd, the city council passed a resolution for this to be on the February 9th ballot. So from that point till now, we've been doing a lot of public education, a lot of virtual meetings because of COVID and the restrictions on gatherings. Most everything has been done by Zoom, which has been working out well. If the vote is approved on February 9th, it will become effective August 1st, 2021. And residents of that the residents of the city of Arlington would see that on their property tax statements in 2022. So that, Paul, is my last slide. Any questions out there from anyone? And if you go to the city's website and just in the search bar, enter Regional Fire Authority, there's a video that we produced also. And the intent of the video was in a non-COVID environment, I intended to be talking to every homeowners group and Chamber of Commerce and Kiwanis, any group I could get in front of to explain this measure. But because of COVID and the restrictions of gatherings, we produced a video that's about 4 minutes long with the hope that if someone knew nothing about this proposal, if they watched the video, would they at least have an idea of what we're trying to do when they got their ballot in the mailbox? And the feedback has been good. So I would encourage you to go to the city website and watch that video also. Yeah. With that, Paul, I'll turn it back over to you.
Well, thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. And for the audience, this contact information, Dave and I both have contact information on the website. So if you are watching by YouTube or you don't have a question right now, but think of something later, please don't hesitate to contact one of us. Looks like we have one question.
I'll read the question. Why should I vote for RFA? The tax increase is less for most homes over $300,000 excess value if the ballot fails.
Sarah, can you read just like the last portion of it? Why should I vote for the RFA? What was after that?
The tax increase is less for most homes over $300,000 assessed value if the ballot fails.
Actually, the breaking point's about 54% of the households in Arlington, if the annexation passes, will see a reduction in their property taxes, or it will remain the same, whether they with the annexation or without the annexation. The higher valued houses, and about 28% of the houses, will see a slight increase. That's $60 a year or less. And then the remaining 18% of the houses, which is the higher in assessed value, would see a greater impact with the annexation than without. So overall, the majority of the property owners will see the same or a little bit of a reduction in their taxes with the annexation than without. Any other questions, Sarah?
That was the only question.
Okay, again, thank you for taking the time to sit in with us on our lunch open house today. Like I said, our contact information is available online, and so we're happy to answer any questions that come up later. So thank you, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you.